Fantastic on the counter! And from despair to delight, the City fans celebrate. Would you believe it? Silver again, Balotelli, pinball, Toure! Manchester City have one hand on the FA Cup. Manchester United have done all they can. That Rooney goal was enough for the 3 points. Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. So watch it, drink it in. There's a good try. Oh, incredible! Ilkay Gundogan. Right from the start. That is stunning. Manchester City have done it! Once, twice, 3 times the champions! Champions of Europe finally! History made in Istanbul! The treble complete!
History makers. For the first time ever, an English club have won 4 titles in a row.
Follow, follow, follow. City's taking the piss, and you know all that money is spent since Ferguson went, and you'll never win 4 in a row. Come on, City. Fucking have it. Have some of that. Absolutely love it. Love it. It's so sweet to do it against the Rags. Oh, what a way to get the season underway. Now, not to put a downer immediately onto this celebration for Manchester City fans, but it was highlighted there. Chroma Biss, you're absolutely right. There is a bit of a curse with the Community Shield in how the winner usually goes on to not win the league. But Section 20 very correctly corrected you in stating that we are the last team to have done it. In the last 10 years, we did win the Community Shield and went on to win the league as well. That was in the quadruple year, wasn't it? Where we won every single domestic trophy available to us. Just another little record that we own. But there is one record, unfortunately, that we don't own. We don't own the only team to have ever lost 4 Community Shields in a row. Because it was 3, could have been 4, very nearly was 4, and that team that owns that record is, of course, Manchester United, who still own that record. Enjoy it, lads. Enjoy that record, because we've got other records to enjoy. You know, like 4 Premier League titles in a row, 100 points, you know, quadruple, domestic quadruple as well. Those little records. The treble will never be done record. Oh, we'll beat that as well. Record after record. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, we also have to factor in that there was some areas of the second half that were a little bit concerning, but only a little, because it's pre-season. There's going to be rustiness in the performance. And it was there. It was quite obvious in the second half. I thought we struggled. I thought United took control of that game a lot better than we did in the second half. But I thought in the first half, we controlled the game reasonably well. We did seem susceptible to giving United some chances. 2 of their chances in that first half were very, very good moves. Almost impossible to defend. The fast passing, the one-touch football on the edge of our area that penetrated us with ease. And it was more of a compliment to the United's build-up play rather than our defensive frailties in the first half. The second half, they didn't really have to work hard or come up with any moments of brilliance to get their chances. They were just gifted to them by sloppy play in the midfield, and both sides were sloppy in the midfield. But when they got the ball, we seemed more susceptible to chance creation from a United perspective. They were just diagonal long balls over to either Rashford and over to Garnacho, who came on in the second half. And that's where their danger came from. Thankfully, Rashford is absolute shite, who missed opportunity after opportunity. 2 golden opportunities for Marcus Rashford that he wasted. McAtee hit the post in the first half, don't forget that. Oscar Bob with a chance with great footwork. I thought Oscar Bob in the first half was brilliant. Second half a little bit anonymous, but played a vital role in our equaliser. Of course he did, with that lovely little dink to the back post for Bernardo Silva. But quieter performance in the second half, but not bad. I thought in the first half Doku was sensational going down that left hand side. One move in particular where he just ghosted past Dallo, and then Maguire to the byline, whipped it, just looking at Kevin De Bruyne. I was trying to go live for the trophy lift, or the shield lift, whatever you want to call it. But there's a slow motion clip of De Bruyne just going, yeah, like that as he lifts it. But I didn't realise the community shield, of course it does, because it needs to stand up, doesn't it? It's like a picture frame. It's got one of those flaps that flaps out. The flap came out and smacked him right on the head while he's doing that. Oh, I love little moments like that. Funny little moments. We've had a few of them moments with trophies. Didn't we drop the trophy off the bus in one of our trophy parade? I'm pretty sure when we won our first FA Cup, I think it was Carlos Tevez who lifted the FA Cup. The lid of the FA Cup just went, see you later. Absolutely love it. But looking at that Bernardo Silva equaliser, he came on with a point to prove, didn't he? Don't tell me he's been angling for a move every summer, which apparently he has, so the reports suggest. He doesn't play like it, does he? I mean, for a player that doesn't want to be here, apparently, I'd like to see him play when he does want to be here. Imagine if he wanted to be there. Imagine how good he'd be. Because he came on and he was brilliant, Bernardo Silva. Getting the goal has obviously helped in that praise. I thought Savinho, whichever one you want to call him, brilliant. He came on, showed some class touches, some brilliant touches. One from Onana, actually. A lovely pass from Onana over the top of Savinho's head, and he brought it down nonchalantly. Brilliant. He looked fast, he looked energetic, and he looked like he had a point to prove. The bit between his teeth, he looked a bit angry. Like a little bit, he was up for a fight, wasn't he, with Pellistri a few times. Pellistri went in on him. He was like, fucking have some of that. And I love that. He's got that fire in his belly, and that's great. That's great news. Massive respect to Matheus Nunes, by the way. Massive respect. Because he came on, and I mean, under pressure. Let's have it straight. He's under pressure this season, Nunes, because I think even generous City fans would probably say last season wasn't enough from him. He didn't play enough for me. He didn't get enough game time. This season is supposed to be the second season where all of our players that are signed get that free pass. In the first year, Grealish did. Rodri did as well. He got a free pass. Lots of players. Haaland didn't need one. But you do. You tend to struggle. I think Gvardiol struggled in the first 6 months. Second 6 months of the season. Or up to Christmas, Gvardiol was struggling last season. After that, he was brilliant. So it takes time. Nunes, brilliant. He came onto this pitch today and he was brilliant. He was everywhere. He was highly involved. His pace. He got back for a moment as well where McTominay was in. Been away from goal a little bit, McTominay, but Matheus Nunes sprinted out there, won the ball, knocked it onto McTominay and got us a goal kick. Brilliant. He carried that ball forward brilliantly as well, Matheus Nunes. Numerous times came involved. And then that penalty, mate, the balls on him to put it in that corner, right in the postage stamp. Absolutely pinged it into that top right-hand corner, left-hand corner, whichever way you want to look at it. Brilliant from Nunes. I thought O'Reilly struggled a little bit, little moments of glimpses. I thought Haaland had a very anonymous Haaland game, which I know a lot of people will talk about that again. The lack of involvement from Erling Haaland. Scored his penalty, so fair play to him. And he got put under pressure by that dickhead Matheus Nunes trying to do some mind games doing that, saying, like, have a shot on goal, mate. Have a free shot on goal, all this space, and he puts it in the other corner and makes him look like a complete bellend. So fair play to Erling Haaland for that penalty. Would like to see a little bit more from him, but I thought the link-up play between O'Reilly and Haaland just was non-existent, unfortunately. But he's a kid, man. I'm talking about the kid like he should be a first-team player. He's not going to get the minutes this season. He looks like a good player. There was just a little bit of decision making when he was going through on goals. There was numerous times where O'Reilly got the ball in space, was able to drive at the defence, right at the heart of United's defence, and he made his decision too early. He needed to show a little bit of patience, let Haaland make that little decoy run that he loves to do, and then change lanes and go a diagonal different to what the defender's following him. O'Reilly needs to learn that about Haaland, and he needs to learn whether his wingers are going to catch him up. He needs to show patience and let the play catch him up, let the City players catch him up to an extent, or pick the right moment to find Erling Haaland. A couple of times he did find Haaland once, but Haaland had to stop because he got the ball earlier than he wanted, and then Haaland's pass back to him wasn't good enough either. So both were to blame in that situation, but moments from O'Reilly that were good. He's a kid. I thought Rico Lewis was sensational. I love his work rate all over the place. Brilliant from Rico Lewis. Fantastic work rate as usual. I thought Kovacic did really well, holding that midfield role, a role that we've all been very much worried, and I think he put a lot of the what about Rodri, because there's no Rodri. We didn't have Rodri today. We didn't have Kevin De Bruyne for 89 minutes. No De Bruyne, no Phil Foden, no Rodri. That midfield would have torn this United team apart, ripped them limb from limb, But we didn't have Rodri, and we didn't have De Bruyne, and we didn't have Foden, and we're coming away with a trophy, and they go home the losers. Absolutely love it. So the idea that Rodri doesn't make it all hunky-dory, because we're talking about one game. What's Mateo Kovacic going to do if he ends up in a situation where Rodri gets suspended again? We need him for 3 games. Let's say, God forbid, we have to go away to the Emirates or to Old Trafford or to Anfield without Rodri. Can Kovacic do it then on his own? I think he needs support. He needs someone to help him in that role. Today, he sort of had Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis was inverted a little bit, but without the ball, Rico dropped into right back more often than not, which it's a difficult role for Rico Lewis to come and go like that from defensive midfield and then back to right back, and to be positionally aware. It's great for a youngster to have that intelligence of knowing where to be on the pitch and at what times. It was really, really good from Rico Lewis, helping Kovacic in that role. But he didn't always need it, Kovacic. I felt like he read the game really well. There was one pass I can think of where Kovacic gave it away, and it was straight from the kickoff after United had scored. He gave the ball away and it went out for a throw-in. It happens. Other than that, I can't think of anything wrong that Kovacic did, which is what you want from that player. And he did plenty of good things as well. It wasn't an anonymous performance. It was a standout performance for me. I thought he was really, really good. And he's brave with his pass. He tries the difficult pass when it works. You know what I mean? Doesn't go over the top with his 2 difficult passes where he's just giving it away. He keeps it simple when it's simple and tries it when he thinks it's on. And more often than not, he gets it right. So I was really, really pleased with Kovacic. Concerned about how fitness again. We were open at the back. In the second half, I thought Akanji struggled at moments, finding big pockets of space around him. I thought Gvardiol was caught out of position a couple of times. But that's the United way. They wanted to leave a player in that position, knowing that Gvardiol might sneak forward a little bit and try and add an extra man and overload in midfield a little bit. It cost us too often, and the Garnacho was coming down our right-hand side once he was on that pitch too frequently, and eventually it cost us to go 1-0 down. But I don't think Gvardiol had a bad game on the ball. I thought on the ball, Gvardiol was really good. I thought he played really well with the football, positionally, and that's because of Pep. Pep wants him to do those things. So it's a risk and reward for Pep's system, unfortunately, and you have to accept that like last season, there's no difference really. And Gvardiol didn't come forward like last season, by the way, in terms of like we saw Walker and Gvardiol just getting really far forward. But Gvardiol was tucking in a little bit and offering an extra pass in midfield here and there. And doing that is dangerous. Going far forward as he was last season, it wasn't like that. But still coming far forward enough to create space for Garnacho and whoever was on the right wing in the first half, Ahmad in the first half, to find that space. And Ahmad didn't make the most of it, thankfully. Garnacho did. And there will be teams that will try and use that same tactic against us this season. But more often than not, we had a flat back 3 rather than a flat back 2 with either Walker or Gvardiol just going ridiculously far forward. And I preferred this. In fact, it was almost a back 4 at times with Rico Lewis, wasn't it? But still, overall, it was what you want to see. Some good performances Fitness levels have gone up. No injuries. And we're walking away with a piece of silverware, Blues. So, I'm pretty happy. Thank you so much for joining me in the chat, by the way. I've missed a super chat as well, Mohammed. We need a midfielder. Can't depend on kids. No, we can't depend on kids, absolutely, but I don't think we will. I was a little bit surprised that we didn't see Kevin De Bruyne come on a little bit earlier than he did. I would have liked to have seen him given 10 minutes rather than like 2. But he clearly came on to score the penalty, and it worked. And big up to Akanji, by the way, who missed that penalty in the Euros this time round. He puts it in the back of the net for Manchester City. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for joining me, by the way, in the chat. I can see 248 of you with nearly 100 likes. If you could pop a like on the stream, please do, because it helps massively. Manchester is blue, says Savio crossing is fire. Absolutely. Savio corners were class 2, says Matt. 100%. A lot of Savio love in the chat, understandably so. Yeah, it's exciting to see the future of what he's going to bring. He very, very Mahrez-esque, and he's not just Mahrez-esque in the way he plays. He's donning the number 26 as well, which is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, Manchester is blue also says Rico was so good. Give him a big shout. I've just done that, mate. So I'm going back up the chat a little bit, but 100% Rico Lewis was class. Trying to think of anyone else who I've not spoke about, really. McAtee drifted here and there. Hit the post, of course. Unlucky to hit the post. I mean, he was pressured by Jonny Evans. Could have taken it a little bit quicker. But hitting the post, you can forgive people for hitting the post, can't you? More or less. It took an age, though, didn't it? He left his left boot, and you're thinking, what's going to happen? It took like a minute for it to arrive at the post. It felt like an age. But like eventually it hit bang in the middle of the post. But he did all right, McAtee. I don't think he did bad. There was a bit of link-up play here and there that was quite nice. I thought his work rate was quite... I didn't speak about that in the watch-along, but he was working hard. He was closing down quite aggressively. Unfortunately, I think Haaland had another one of those Haaland games where the anti-Haaland brigade come out and give him a bit of stick. And I think this is I feel like they need to be... not educated, because I feel like they understand, but I feel like the anti-Haaland people need to understand that there's going to be games like this season where Haaland seems like it's like, what's the point in him? It's going to feel like that occasionally. But then the next week, he'll score a hat-trick, and that's when you need to remember, the anti-Haaland people, that's what he's there for. That's what, if the opportunities arise, Haaland will score. He will score more often than not. He will take his chances, and he will end the season as the Premier League Golden Boot winner. If he's fit, if he plays. We have to accept, like I said in the chat, the rain that comes with the rainbow, and Haaland is very much a rainbow that shines brightly and colourfully throughout the season, but occasionally there is a game that is an absolute thunderstorm of rain, a monsoon of rain with no colour or enjoyableness to come from Erling Haaland. What am I talking about? What is this analogy? Pulled it right out of my arse. But anyway, you get the point. There's going to be ups and downs with Erling Haaland, but more ups than downs. I promise you that. I promise you that. So while it's frustrating to have games like this, we go 1-0 down, it's like, right, Haaland, score. Where are the chances? We have to be patient with him. We have to be understanding that his game is very unique. He doesn't seem to fit a Pep-style team, but when it works and we get it right and we can get Haaland getting on the end of crosses from Savio and Doku, we haven't seen that yet. There was a cross from Savio, by the way, that was delicious, mate. It was like right on the edge. Goalkeeper was in no man's land. Anana can't come near it. Haaland at that point just went to the back post thinking it's going to be dinked all the way. If he did one of his decoy runs where he goes to the back post and then cuts back inside again, he's getting a free tap in. Those two, their chemistry needs to be given a bit of time to see Savio learn where Haaland wants it, and Haaland needs to learn how quick does Savio cross the ball? Does he cut back onto his right foot? What's his crossing style? Is he a near post crosser, or is he a bit of a back post dinker, or somewhere in between? They need to learn each other's styles, and that will, when that clicks, when we feel that click, there'll be a light bulb moment for Haaland, and goals will flood. There will be a monsoon of goals from Erling Haaland with Savinho assists and hopefully Doku assists on the other side of the pitch. Hopefully Jack Grealish as well at some point, Oscar Bob as well, which is fantastic options that we have on the wide play. And Bernardo Silva. We've got 5 players that can play on either side of the pitch now. which is a real indication of why Pep signed these players for Haaland, to get the supply into him from the sides into Haaland, who wants those types of crosses. That's what he loves. He lives off it. He's made a living off it, Erling Haaland. So I really want to see patience be given to Haaland and Savinho and Doku for give it 10 games before we start criticising Haaland's involvement. There will be a game where he goes missing. Today was one of them. Savinho wasn't on the pitch. It's going to be one of those days, unfortunately. And at the end of the day, he scored his penalty and we won another piece of silverware. Stick that in the cabinet, please, Mr. Pep Guardiola. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, Blues, what a way to get the season underway. Lewis, good to see you as well. Hydra, Michael as well. That guy, Raphael. I feel like the trophy is cursed, though. Oh, Raphael, mate. Talk about pissing on the bonfire, mate. Yeah. I know what you mean, though. There is a bit of bad history. But, like I said, we are the only team to have done it, as Section 20 pointed out earlier in the twat. You're not a twat, Section. Call him a twat. In the chat, I've been saying twat all stream, so it rolled off the tongue. Section 20, you twat. Oh, man. One of the soundest guys ever, Section 20. You're all right, mate. Appreciate that, Michael. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, mate. 19 teams want to kill us. You're absolutely right. 100%. We are there to be shot at. We were there to be shot at last season, and definitely the season before, especially following the treble. That was to win the league after that. But Blues, I want to hear it. If you're watching after the fact, would you rather take a Premier League trophy or a Champions League trophy if you could only have one? I know we're going to go for them all. We're going to target all. Hopefully we can come away with multiple pieces of silverware again. But if you had to choose one, what would you prefer? 4 in a row has never been done. Therefore, that's a record. You can shelve that for me. That record's there for 4 years minimum. Minimum. Champions League, though, we've only got one. I want 2. Because United have got 3. Before you know it, we've more than halved 2/3 of our way onto stating that we are as big a European giants as Manchester United's history. You know, get that. Let's get that. Because with Pep Guardiola, if he signs another contract as well, we could be looking at getting the same number of Champions League trophies as Manchester United, all within Pep Guardiola's spell as Manchester City manager. And what an achievement that would be. For me, it's Champions League. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go and have a big, fat, juicy pizza. 16.9 thousand subscribers. Thank you very much, James. Little signpost. Appreciate that, mate. Keep it going. Keep it going. Subscribe if you're new. Really helps. Let's grow this community. It was good to see so many of you in the watch along as well. It was great. And a lot of you were talking about how much you were enjoying the chat. More than me, actually. Just my little ego needed a bit of a polishing there. You were all talking about how enjoyable the chat is. And I was like, well, am I? What about me? What about me? No, I'm joking. But it's been good. What a good day. What a good day. Eric Ten Hag. Speaking of polishing, Eric Ten Hag's on the screen. What are you polishing tonight? You're not polishing a charity shield, mate. Probably just your knob. How's about that? But anyway, on that note, we'll call it, shall we? Come on, City. Season is underway. Premier League. Chelsea next. Up and coming previews. Going to talk about this game tomorrow. Player ratings as well. They're back. Going to go into more detail about each player's performance tomorrow. I'll try and get that out as early as possible. Thank you so much for joining me in the watch long. Thanks for joining me in this match reaction. Take care, Blues. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you later. Come on.